Good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and early, 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. And I was going to do a story talking about Donald Trump offering Kim Jong-il a ride back to North Korea on Air Force One. The real story just came out Monday, but I'm putting that aside for right now. I want to talk about Elijah McClain, confronted by officers in Aurora, Colorado, August 2019. An independent report and investigation just came out yesterday, the 22nd of February. The same day, I did the video on Rodney Reese walking home from Walmart, wearing a t-shirt, ends up in jail walking home from Walmart. The kid is scared. I talked in the video about how I could hear the fear. I could see the way the kid was responding. He was scared of the police, and his parents said as much. Let's just take a look back at Elijah McClain, 2019, walking home from a convenience store. He went to get an iced tea for his brother. Now, he suffers from anemia, which is, I believe it's low iron in the blood, and it caused, my mother had it. It causes people to be cold. You're cold all the time. And I guess he was wearing a face covering, a hood, a mask. I don't know exactly how much of his head or his face it was covering. Police get a report that somebody's wearing a hood, a suspicious person, and waving their hands or something like that. 3 cops show up. They end up wrestling. Elijah's listening to music under his head covering. They end up wrestling him to the ground. Fire and Rescue ends up showing up and shoots him up with 500 milligrams of ketamine to sedate him. Now, I looked it up, and there's a link down below, because I thought 500 milligrams sounded like an awful lot of ketamine, and it is, because for a therapeutic dose, it's about 1 pound per 1 milligram. Now, Elijah McClain was a small guy, probably about 160 pounds. I'm guessing 170 pounds. So 500 milligrams of ketamine might be a bit too much. So anyway, back in 2019, this hardly got any notice at all before George Floyd's death. The officers were cleared of any wrongdoing. This guy was just walking home. The 3 officers, I'll put the link down below so you guys can get the whole story. There's the video from the cams and everything. The cameras fall off. They're threatening him. They're threatening to sick the dog on him. Then get this. The 3 officers go back to work. No problem. But they later get into some trouble because they're in a picture laughing, holding each other in restraining each other, laughing the same way that they ended up killing Elijah McClain. At one of his memorials, they take a photo of the 3 of them kidding around and strangling each other, laughing. Ha ha, funny. Yeah, the 3 officers that got off. 500 milligrams of ketamine. This guy is walking home, minding his own business. Oh, he was wearing something on his head, and now he's dead. That's how that happened. And he's black. Then Reese wearing a short sleeve shirt. Oh, that's suspicious. A black man in a short sleeve shirt. We better stop him. Ends up in jail. You can see why this 18-year-old kid was frightened. The more I thought about this story yesterday, the more irate I got. During a pandemic, this kid is going to Walmart and working on the front lines, and think about this. This was in Texas, the story I did yesterday, thinking more about this. In Texas, where all the power shortages, lack of water and food, he's working in a Walmart. Can you imagine what it was like working that day in Walmart? Like I said, the weather was probably different when he went into work. He's walking home. I can imagine the day this kid had, how much money he must have made that day. And then I see the Republicans not wanting to give a $15 minimum wage to people like him so that maybe he could afford a jacket or a car to drive himself back and forth to work. The more I thought about this yesterday, this kid is working in a Walmart during a pandemic, not just a pandemic, but on top of it, in this whole winter problem, this whole storm that happened in Texas. And this kid's doing the right thing, not selling drugs. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine drug dealers in that neighborhood coming up to that kid and laughing at him? You know, he's doing the right thing. He's making a tiny fraction of the money. He's still getting hassled and arrested by the police with a legal job, working at Walmart in a pandemic, doing the right thing, helping his fellow citizens, working at Walmart. And he still gets harassed and jailed walking home. So why the hell not sell drugs and make 100 times that much? At least he'd have money for bail. He'd have a company car. I got so irate. And then you see Cruz, taking off to Mexico and handling one case of water. And this kid's working at a Walmart, walking back and forth every day, getting hassled by the police because he's in a t-shirt. Elijah McClain, August 2019. The Independent report just came out yesterday. You could see why, you could start to understand why somebody like Reese is so scared of Rodney Reese, is so scared of the police. Why he's walking home in the dark and working at Walmart all day. I've been in Walmart. I see, on a good day, I see what Walmart's like. I can't imagine what that guy went through, that kid went through on that day. And he sees the police pull up and start asking if he's okay because he's wearing a t-shirt. Walking home. And God knows if he can even, he lives in Texas, does he even own a jacket? Minimum wage, don't want to give him $15 an hour. Unbelievable. So, look, the story on Elijah McClain, the link is down below. The medical link about ketamine. And these people were all let off. The fire and rescue were let off 500 milligrams of ketamine. And Elijah McClain suffered a heart attack on the way to the hospital. In the report, you'll read, they're not sure if it was due to the strangling, the the therapeutic amount of ketamine, all the above. It was inconclusive. One thing for sure, Elijah McClain would be alive today if the cops didn't stop him walking home from buying an iced tea that day. August 2019. Hey, I guess Rodney Reese should consider himself lucky because he just ended up in jail. Wow. Yeah, Black Lives Matter.